Hey everybody, I'm Eric Schweitzer with The Gamer, and I'm here with Lorcana brand manager and co-designer Ryan Miller.
Hello!
Ryan, tell us what we're looking at today.
This is Disney Lorcana, the Disney trading card game. It is something I've been working on we have a team, been working on for nearly 4 years now, and we're finally unleashing it to the world. It's very exciting.
Yeah. And today we have the starter decks.
That's right. So we have 3 different starter decks. We're going to play 2 different ones. But each starter deck is made so it's ready to play right out of the box. You have a different theme in each one, so you can kind of learn different aspects of the strategy. But it's just fun to pop a deck open and start playing.
Yeah, I'm really excited because this is the first time I'm seeing these decks, and for the people that are going to start playing the game, a lot of them, this will be the first decks that they play with.
Yeah.
So talk to me about deciding that these are going to be people's introduction to the game and how you designed a deck that's like a good way to start playing.
Oh, sure. I mean, I think, with any starter deck, your goal is not to be competitive. Your goal is to be a nice onboarding. And we also feel like a lot of folks who've never played a trading card game before are going to try this game. And so we want to make sure that the starter deck experience is really welcoming, and it's and it eases you into here's the intricacies of the rules and that sort of thing. And it's also something we did in the game design itself, right? We wanted the game itself to be fairly easy to pick up, generally speaking. But we also know that a lot of trading card gamers are going to try it out too, and we want to give them a really deep strategic experience. And that's something that trading card games do very well, actually, because the rules themselves can be fairly accessible and easy to pick up. It's the cards that add that strategic depth. They add all the, and so really the rules exist as a structure. I call it like the bones, right? And the cards are the meat, right? And so the bones can be fairly easy to pick up. It's really just how you choose to use your cards, how you play them, which cards you include in your deck. That's where that strategic depth comes into play. But a new player can just pick it up and put pirates or princesses all in a deck and just have a blast, and it's super fun, right? So that was our goal with that. And then, so with the starter deck specifically, we just kind of wanted to highlight 3 different ways you can play. There's the Sapphire Steel deck, and that one is all about kind of gaining more resources quicker than you should, so you can put out larger characters. There is the Amber Amethyst deck, and that is about just lots of friends, just tons of friends out really quickly, and kind of questing and winning and going towards victory that way. And then finally we have the Ruby Emerald deck, which is one I'm playing today, and it is more of a combo deck. And I think you'll see as we play, it's definitely the most strategically complex of the 3, but it's also a lot of fun. So.
Cool. And the starter decks also come with a pack too.
That's right. That's right.
Unique.
So you get a starter deck. You get a 60 card starter deck. You get two of those cards will be foils. You get a booster pack. You get the rules sheet. You get some game components. And you get that booster pack, which I might have already said, but I really want to hit that. But yeah, you get a booster pack right out of the gate, and the booster pack's actually pretty cool too, because we're doing 12 card boosters, but we're doing 2 rare slots in every pack, and a foil. So you're going to always get 2 rare slots and a foil out of every pack. Every card is going to get a foil version, and that one foil slot is going to be it could be any card of the entire set, right? Cool. And so eventually you could collect a whole foil set. Your whole deck could be foil. If you strategically place the window, you could blind your opponent with your foil cards, and that gives you an advantage. It does. I mean, don't quote me on that, but that's what you can do. So I think we're doing some really fun stuff with not only the gameplay, but the collecting, and just it's so much fun to open the booster packs, because not only are you flipping through some really fun game cards, but you're seeing these characters that you know and love. And one of the great things about having 204 cards in the set is that we can hit all the big hitters, but we can also do some deep cuts in there too.
Yeah.
And that has been super fun to see people flip through a pack and go, Treasure Planet? What? It's just super fun, right? Oh, the Pongo is here. We've got Sergeant Tibbs. What's happening? So
Sergeant Tibbs is somebody's favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of people's actually. When we spoiled Sergeant Tibbs, we got lots of people. People are like, oh yeah, Sergeant Tibbs. So it's just been a joy to work on, because I've been a Disney fan since I was a little boy, and then of course I've been doing trading card game design for 20 plus years now, and so this is just this wonderful culmination of everything that I've worked on until now. So.
I love the idea of including the pack in the starter decks, because it's just such an easy way to give people an introduction to deck building. They have this perfect thing that they can play, but if they want to try to put 1 or 2 in to help it out.
That's right. And we wanted to make deck building. Deck building is a really important experience, because it's our best guess is that about half the time someone is playing a trading card game, half of that time is actually spent deck building,
Right.
or thinking about decks, or thinking about combos. The other half is sitting down with somebody and playing. When we talk about playing a trading card game, and so that means that deck building process has to be pretty fun because you're going to be doing it a lot. And so when we designed the deck building rules for this game, Steve and I really wanted to make sure that it was fairly straightforward. And if you just wanted to put your favorite characters together, you could absolutely do that, right? And so we've got really simple rules. There's 6 colors of cards. Just choose 2 of them. And those are the colors your deck can use, right? Other than that, it's at least 60 cards, but you can go more if you want. And no more than 4 of any one card. And that's it. Right? So that way, like my pirate deck that I really enjoy, super fun to play, but also really easy to put together, and we also designed the characters so that if you do put like all the princesses together, there will be some synergies there that you may not have realized until you start playing it, right? So we really want a deck building to be like just a really fun experience.
Cool. Well, you mentioned what deck you're playing with. What deck am I playing with today?
Well, you were playing Sapphire Steel. So this steel is the color of strength. In fact, the biggest character in the set is in this deck. That's Maui.
Love Maui.
He's awesome in the art. So your deck is all about using cards to gain more resources quicker than you would normally do, like cards like One Jump Ahead and Mickey Mouse Detective and Grammatala, and then using that extra resource to pull out some of these larger or more costly characters and hopefully overwhelm your opponent with sheer size, right? So that is what your deck is all about.
Okay, that's the plan. Well, I've been waiting so long to ask you this. Can we play a game of
Let's
Lorcana?
play some Lorcana, seriously.
Right.
Let's do it.
Walk me through it.
All right, so in the game of Lorcana, you play the role of an Illumineer, okay? And that is someone who has the ability to use magic ink to summon glimmers of Disney characters off of the page. And then with your glimmers, you go on a quest. And the goal is to be the first to complete the quest. You do that by being the first to 20 lore, okay? First player, so it's like we're on the same quest, but only one of us can finish it, right? And you just want to be the first to finish the quest. The glimmers are fun because that means, so a glimmer is kind of like a magical snapshot of a character that's sentient, right? And that means that we can do lots of different versions of the same character. We can do really interesting snapshots from various parts of their story. And then, of course, sometimes we do what we call Dreamborn characters, which are ones that are showing that character in a way you've never seen before. And I'll point those out as we get there.
And the Floodborn, too.
And the Floodborn, which are similar to Dreamborn, but instead of being summoned by Lumineers, they were actually created by the magic of Lorcana itself in kind of a cataclysmic event, which we'll go into more in set 2.
Cool.
The story for set 2 is going to cover the Floodborn in greater detail, but we wanted to preview them. Stay tuned. We wanted to preview them here in set 1.
Great.
All right, so go ahead and shuffle up. You're going to start with 7 cards.
7.
Since I'm the game designer, I'm going to go first.
Deal.
Otherwise, you would decide randomly goes first. No, I like to go first to show you how the things go, that sort of thing. We're going to talk first about ink. Ink is the resource of the game. Now, most cards can be used as ink. Normally, I wouldn't be showing my hand, but for purposes of most cards can be used as ink, and you'll know it can be used as ink because up here on the left, you'll see this gold flare, right? This gold kind of wreath, and some cards have it and some cards don't. So you can see Pongo here has it, but Rapunzel here does not. What that means is this card can be used as magic ink, and this card cannot.
Right.
All right, and that means when you're building your deck, you want to make sure you don't put too many cards like this in there because you might get stuck with not enough ink. To use a card as ink, it's pretty simple. You just take a card that you decide you want to use as ink, you show it to your opponent to say, hey, look, it's got ink, and then you put it face down in your Inkwell. Now that counts as 1 ink. Does not matter what's on the other side. Doesn't matter any of the numbers, anything. It's just 1 ink. And then that number at the top left, that's how much magic ink you must exert in order to play that card. Okay?
Got it.
So for my turn, I don't actually have a card that I can play, that I want to play, for 1 ink. They're already ahead. So I'm going to say go. Now you always start your turn with ready, set, draw.
Okay.
Ready just means if you had any cards that are exerted, you ready them. Set just happens to mean if you have any cards in play that say at the start of your turn or something like that. We don't have any of those in the starter deck. And then draw, guess what that does?
Draw a card.
Nice! That's your first rodeo. I love it. So you might have noticed I didn't draw a card because the first player of the game doesn't get to do that.
Okay.
There's a bit of an advantage to going first. We take some of that advantage back by not letting me have a card. But you are going to draw a card. So you're going to draw your card. You're going to choose a card that you want to use as ink. Now, this being your first game, you may not have a lot of context for this decision. So I always like to say that in your first few games, pick like your highest costing card, because chances are you're not going to get to that anytime soon. So you might as well just put that down as ink so you can use some of your lower costing cards. And getting characters out is generally early on a better strategy. So if you have like a one cost item, you might want to wait if you could do a character instead.
Then I'm going to add Beast to my Inkwell.
Okay.
And then I can exert it.
That's right.
Right away.
That's right.
And I can play this one cost.
Look at Flounder. Oh my. All right. Yeah, that's it. Now you're going to be done, because the thing about characters is when you first play them, their ink isn't dry yet.
All right.
So you have to wait a turn. On your next turn, you'll be able to do stuff with your character, and then we can talk about that when we get there. Okay?
Okay.
So I'll take my turn. I'm going to ready, set, draw. I don't have anything to ready or set, so I just go straight to draw. Oh boy, it's going to be a good few turns for you, I think. I'm going to put the Mad Hatter down into my Inkwell, and I don't have anything that costs 2 either. So I'm going to pass the turn back to you.
All right.
So ready? Set, draw.
Draw. Oh, I'm seeing so many of these cards for the first time. Let's see. I think that I'll need to put Aurora into my ink.
All right. Now you have 2 ink to spend.
But that works out for me because I can exert those 2 and play a different Aurora.
Nice. Now let's talk characters. So this character you just played, so ink is not dry yet, but Flounder is ready to roll. There are generally 2 options you have with your characters. The first is to quest. And questing is really simple. You just exert your questing character, and you gain 1 lore for each of these lore icons on the right side of their text box. That's it. Challenging is the other option, and that's where you'd actually challenge my characters. But since I don't have any, we're going to wait. We're going to wait for that rule right there. So
yeah.
I will say that when you exert someone, they are kind of vulnerable to being challenged. So there is kind of a cost to exerting them. But since I don't have any characters out to challenge you, you can just run the board right now if you want.
Then I think that's what I'll do.
Yeah. And we'll spend, we'll get you this really cool. There we go. And now you're at 1 lore. Like I said before, our goal should be the first to 20.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Okay. I think it's my turn, unless you've got some sneaky card that costs 0, which I know you don't. So
right.
What was your question? You were about to ask a question.
If I've quested, is there another action I can take after that, or does that effectively end my turn?
No, you can quest. You can do whatever you want, as long as you have characters that have their ink is already dry.
Right.
The reason I think you're done is you have no more ink to spend, and
do.
you can't do anything with Aurora, so there's nothing else you can do. But if you have characters out and they're ready to roll, you can do anything you want, any order you want. You can keep going. You can quest. You can do all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to ready, set, draw. Oh, look at you. Okay. Well, okay, Megara here is going to be going into my Inkwell, and I finally get to play a card. Oh my. And I am going to play one of my favorite pieces of art in the entire first set, and it is Mickey Mouse Steamboat Pilot. I love the art in this card so much. We have 3 total playmats. You're seeing 2 of them here, but the third one uses this art right here, and this is on my desk right now.
Nice.
So there you go. Ink isn't dry yet, though, so he's not doing anything. Back over to you. Ready, set, draw.
Ready, set, draw. Okay, so I need to add another card to my Inkwell, and I'm going to choose to add the Develop Your Brain.
I don't know about that. I'm kidding.
Oh, no.
Like to use my advanced knowledge to intimidate you.
Okay, and I think that I will exert those, and I have another vanilla. This is Jasmine.
Look at all that lore you got on the table.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you have spent all your ink, and you've got a couple characters whose ink is dried, so you can choose what you want to do with them. Let's talk about challenging.
Yeah.
So to challenge, the first thing you need to know is you can only challenge one of my characters is if they were already exerted.
Right.
So think of it like this. This is safe, this is vulnerable, right? And that means like whenever you do anything with your character, you're kind of making them vulnerable to being challenged, right? So you know right off the bat that you can't challenge Mickey here because he's not exerted, but let's pretend that he was. Okay, let's pretend he was exerted. If you want to challenge him, you simply exert your challenger. You decide who of my exerted characters you want to challenge. And that's where these numbers here come into play. The first one is strength. Second one is willpower. Each character is going to deal damage to the other equal to their strength. And that's where these counters come into play. So Mickey's got 3 strength. He's going to put 3 strength on Flounder. Flounder's got, 3 damage. Flounder's got 2 strength. He's going to put 2 damage on Mickey. Now, damage is permanent. Mm-hmm. It stays on there until something takes it away, usually like some sort of healing effect or something like that, or until the character's damage is at least as high as its willpower. That banishes the character and the damage counters, of course, go away. Mm-hmm. So in this example, poor Flounder here would get banished. He'd go to your discard pile. Mickey would be left with 2 damage on him, which means you only take 2 more damage in order to banish him, right? So that would be your, when you're thinking about, do I want to challenge, that would be the outcome of that, right? Now, as I said before, since he wasn't exerted, it's not an option for you, but that's how challenging works.
Gotcha.
So always keep in mind when you're exerting your characters to do things that you are making them vulnerable to be challenged.
Okay, so then I'm going to quest, and I think I'll quest with Flounder and Jasmine.
Well, Jasmine, you just played.
Jasmine, I can't do that.
So sometimes what I'll do is I'll actually put my characters that haven't dried yet, I'll put them down here.
Right.
And that'll help me remember. But you can, the outcome's pretty similar. You're going to get 2 more for Aurora. So you get 3 more points. You're up to 4. I have 0 points. So you know what? I'm going to double my score just to keep.
Is that fair?
It's my math nerd joke of the day there. Terrible. All right. Okay. So I think you're all done, right? Because you have nothing left to do. So I'm going to go ready, set, draw. After all, I'll let you tell me that you're done. Sorry, I keep doing that. Okay. All right. Well. I'm going to put poor Aladdin here. Prince Abubu. I know. That always tickled me when Jafar says that. Prince Abubu. And I'm going to spend all of my ink on Pongo. Now, Pongo's pretty interesting. He's an old rascal. That means he's got this evasive ability here. And evasive just means that he can only be challenged by other characters with evasive. And so he's just really hard. So I can just kind of quest with him. And since you don't have any evasive characters, you can't challenge him. You can do nothing.
Well,
all right. So I am going to, let's see, you're at 4. And I think I need to, Mickey Mouse is going to go have a chat with Aurora. And this challenge will put 3 damage on Aurora. Well, 2 damage back because her strength of 2, right? And then the end result is that Aurora decides she doesn't want to talk to Mickey anymore and goes to the discard pile. My Mickey, though, has 2 on there. But I had to do that because of the 2 lore that she gets every time she quests. So I'm like, I could have just quested with him, and I thought, oh, you're just going to win that race. So that's what I'm doing there. So go ahead.
Okay. We're ready. And now Jasmine is in play.
That's right.
And we'll draw. I need to add Maleficent to my Inkwell.
All right, so long, Maleficent.
I love the flexibility of being able to put whatever I want in my Inkwell, but it is also painful to know that I'm losing a friend every time.
But it's like it's also a good point of strategy, right? Like deciding which card to ink becomes very strategic because you're basically having to look at the board and go, okay, which of these cards is least useful to me right now?
All right, so I've exerted 2 ink so that I can play this action card, Ransack.
Okay, you've played an action card. So let's talk just a bit about action cards. They're pretty simple. You just pay their cost, do what they say, and then this card goes to the discard pile. So it doesn't stay in play like characters do. So in this case, you're going to draw 2, then discard 2. You get to like kind of shuffle through your hand a bit.
Okay. Pulling 2 cards. And I'm going to discard a Grandma Tala. Sorry, Grandma.
Sorry, Grandma.
And I'm also going to discard the Frying Pan.
It's funny, you picked 2 of my favorite cards from a story standpoint.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Frying Pan first of all. So this is an item card. I don't think we've touched on just yet. Item cards are easy to spot because they have this gold border around them. That way you can see them easily. Item cards stay out when you play them. So you pay their ink and they kind of stay out like characters do. But their ink dries right away. So you can use them right away. What I like about the story of this card is it's the Frying Pan from Rapunzel. And its ability is called Clang. Banish this item. So we put it in a discard pile. Chosen character can't challenge during their next turn. So basically you brain them with the Frying Pan. They're like, nah. They can still quest, but they can't challenge. They're too like, whatever. And then Grandma Tala is also one of my favorite from a story standpoint because what her ability is called I Will Be With You. And what it says is when she is banished, you can put her in your Inkwell as ink. And it's just like in the movie where after she, spoiler alert, after she passes away, she's still helping Moana, right? So even after she leaves play, she's still helping you, right? Cool. And I just thought that was a fun way. We've tried very hard to like make sure that the cards have as much story as we can put on it. It's not always possible with every card, right? But we really want the story to come through of like, what's the story of this card? Why, even Pongo having evasive because he's just really hard to pin down. He's so fast. He's an old rascal. And it's been truly one of the most fun parts of designing the cards for this game. It's like coming up with fun effects like that.
Oh, I love that. Okay,
and then
this gets discarded.
Yep. And you've still got 2 ink. So if you can spend it, you can still use it if you like.
I can't, but I think that I need to. Challenge Mickey.
Oh, geez. Okay.
With Flounder.
Well, that makes sense because he's on the steamboat, and so Flounder kind of pops up onto the deck.
Bumps him.
And I'm going to deal 3 to Flounder and 2 back, and that will be enough for both of them to be banished.
Good job, Flounder.
Good job, Flounder.
So Mickey got a lot of value. He got 2.
He got 2, yeah. So it's one of the interesting trade-offs of challenging versus questing. Because if I'm questing, I'm kind of taunting you. Do you stop me by challenging? But then you're not questing and going towards victory.
Right.
Or do you just quest and really, when you're in that race mode, deciding when to stop and actually challenge is another big strategic choice.
Yeah. Well, I need to keep my advantage.
So yeah. 6 to nothing.
Jasmine.
6 to nothing. Oh, no. Okay.
Beginner's luck, we'll call it.
Yes. Be early game luck. All right, ready, set, draw. Oh my, look at you. Okay, well, I'm going to put old Jasper in my Inkwell. I'm just going to put some of these cards around here, and then I'm gonna lose that race, aren't I? That's okay. I'm gonna still quest. So I'm going to go and get on the board.
There you go.
2 lore for me, and then Pongo is going to be joined by his best friend Pongo. So there we go. I got duo Pongo. Okay, and there's nothing else I want to do with that last ink, so go ahead.
All right, draw my card. And I did that out of order.
It's okay.
It's ready, set, then draw.
I will not call the judge over this time.
Okay, I need to get this magic golden flower. What is magic golden flower from?
That's from Rapunzel as well. So that's the flower that Mother Gothel hides and then becomes part of the magic of the healing magic that Rapunzel has.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's ink now.
Okay.
And I will exert my supply.
Geez. What is this nonsense?
Here it comes.
No!
The beast is on the board.
Oh my gosh. So he has an ability called Break. When you play this character, you can banish chosen item. There aren't any items, so that's fine. But you're still getting a pretty awesome character out of it. So it's that's pretty great. Well, we'll just, his ink isn't dried yet, so we'll put that. So what about Jasmine? What's her story? Now, you can't challenge Pongo because he's evasive and you're not.
Right.
So your only option is either to leave her safe or quest.
I think we're going to quest.
Yeah, I like that plan.
That brings me to 8. And that's the end of my turn.
All right. Ready, set, draw. All right. Sergeant Tibbs. Sorry, Sergeant. Well, actually, you know what, Sergeant Tibbs? I need you on duty in my Inkwell. I am going to quest for 4, put me up to 6. I'm going to spend all 6 of my ink for, speaking of, Rapunzel. When you play this character, each opponent loses 1 lore. So minus 1 lore to you. And now I will say, done. Go ahead.
All right. We're going to ready. Set and draw. My hand's getting pretty low. Should I be worried about that?
You should. But there's nothing you can do, Eric.
I thought I might.
There's nothing you can do. I mean, that happens. Mid-late game is always going to be a bit I've only got 2 cards too, but one of them I'm holding on to just in case.
So instead of adding an ink at this point, I don't think that's going to help me.
Yeah, you don't have to add ink if you don't want to. And definitely, depending on the deck you're playing, that's your choice, right? If you want to wait, hold off, whatever. Your deck does have that 8-cost Maui in there, but only 1 copy, so if you don't already have it in your hand, I don't know if I'd count on it. Okay.
Well, I think I'd like to play a song.
Okay, let's talk songs.
Yeah.
So, Grab Your Sword, originally sung, of course, by Gaston. Songs are a special type of action card. You can play them just like any action card. You can pay their cost, do what it says, in this case, deal 2 damage to each opposing character, and then discard it. That's just like any song. Or you can have one of your characters sing the song for you. In that case, you don't have to spend the ink for it. To have a character sing it for you, the character's cost has to be at least as high as the song's cost, and you have to exert the character. So in this case, the only character you have that can sing the song, because it costs 5, is your beast. So you could exert beast, sing the song, you get the effect, and you don't spend any of your ink. So you could spend it on whatever else you have in your hand. Now, again, it does make him vulnerable, and it does mean that you can't quest with him, you can't challenge with him, but that's how you sing a song. And the songs are just such a fun mechanic, because oftentimes people sing the song as they play it. And so whenever there's a room full of Lorcana people playing, you'll just hear random bits of songs. Like one of my favorites is Let It Go. Let It Go is a song that you can take one of your opponent's characters and turn them into ink.
Right.
And so you have to sing, just let it go, let it go, right? It's just super fun, right? And it's just one of my favorite parts of playing Lorcana. So what is your choice, sir? Do you want to pay the ink for that, or do you want to have Beast sing it for you? Which is kind of ironic because normally...
I was about to say, unfortunately, I don't think Beast wants to sing this song, but that's my plan.
Yeah. All right, so that's going to put 2 damage on each of my characters, which is super sad. But they're still around, which yes, I'm okay with that.
So that's going to leave me with enough ink, if I exert these 4, to play this Aurora.
Oh my, okay, Disarming Beauty. So that character, you can choose any one of my characters to get -2 strength for this turn.
Right.
Usually you're going to do that if you want to challenge one of my characters. In this case, it's not really going to help you, but it does give you another character because you can't challenge these 2.
Right.
Or Rapunzel because she's not exerted. But it's still, the 5 willpower. It's still a good character to have out there.
And I think that I will have to quest with Jasmine.
Okay, yeah. I could see that happening.
To 9.
All right.
And it's your turn.
All right. Ready, set, draw. Let's see here. Oh, all right. I'm going to play Aladdin Street Rat. When you play this character, each opponent loses 1 lore.
Oh, you're really bringing me down.
I'm going to quest for 6, going up to 12 lore.
Wow.
I'm going to play
Slingshot right past
Horus and say go.
I don't know how to process what just happened.
Oh, Pongo's kind of mean. Like you got to deal with Pongo because.
All right, let's deal with that dog. Okay.
He's an old rascal.
So first, I'm gonna exert and I'm gonna fire the cannons at one of your Pongo.
Okay, I hope you can sleep at night. That's all I gotta say. That's all I can say about that. Okay, so that's an action card going straight to the discard pile. There you go. Yep.
Let's deal 2 damage to a chosen character.
And that was enough because he already had 2 on him. That was enough to banish him. Yeah.
And my next move, I think that I'll need to deal with Rapunzel. And
at great cost, sir.
At great cost.
You don't want to tangle with her? I'm a dad. I can do that now.
I think Jasmine will give me...
Whoa, real? Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
She's worth more.
Yeah, totally.
But...
Yeah. Okay, so that's going to deal 3, which 3 plus the 2 is going to be plenty. Mm-hmm. And then 5, of course, is plenty for that. So that...
Good work, Jasmine.
Plus 2. Jasmine gets tangled up in some hair, but that's enough.
I'm going to hang on to this for a turn, and I think that I will just quest for another 3.
Jeez.
Brings me to 11, right behind you.
Not for long. All right, and you're going to hold off?
Yep, your turn.
You done? Okay. Ready, set, draw. Whew. Oh, jeez. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go plus 4 up to 16, and I'll play another Horus. And pass the turn over to you.
Draw my card, and I'm going to be honest. I can feel doom impending. All right, I'm going to play this Hercules who has Bodyguard.
Oh, cool. Let's talk Bodyguard. So Bodyguard basically just says that while the Bodyguard is exerted, your other characters cannot be challenged. And then also it says that when you first play him, you can just exert him right then and there, so he's right off the bat protecting your team.
Okay.
Now that doesn't mean that you can exert him to quest. That's not what that means. It just means that you can put him in play already exerted. So he's instead of being able to challenge your other characters, I now have to get rid of Hercules before I can do that. So that's how Bodyguard. So, but it's up to you. You don't have to put him down exerted if you don't want to. But if you want, if you're planning on questing or challenging with these 2 and you don't want to get hit back, then you might want to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan for me. I'm gonna put him down already in Bodyguard mode.
That's right.
And then now I have to decide if I'm going to quest or challenge.
Well, I'll give you a little hint.
Sure.
I have you need to challenge because I have 5 lore on the board and I only need 4.
You're already ahead of me.
And so I'll win on my next turn if you don't get rid of at least 2 lores worth of characters.
Right. Okay. So Beast and Horus.
Okay.
Aurora.
So let's do these one at a time here.
Okay.
So in this case, 4 strength is going to do 4 damage to Horus, which is enough to banish him. 4 strength on Horus is enough to banish Beast, so both of them are going to go away. Bit of a different story with this one, right? Briar Rose here is going to deal 2 damage to my Aladdin, which is enough. But then Aladdin's going to do 2 back, which is not nearly enough. So she's going to stick around. There you go. And no, she's still exerted. Don't cheat now. Are you trying to? Is that how you win your games, Eric? Is that how you do it?
I don't really know what you're talking about, Ryan. That's the end of my turn.
Okay, ready, set, draw. Okay, I like you. All right, so now I'm looking across the table and I'm like, do I bother or I just race you? I think I just race you. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to just quest for 3. Puts me at 19.
Oh.
And then I'm going to put the Mad Hatter out to really put the pressure on you. Yeah, oh, you know what? I'm good. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's your turn.
Oh, no. I can see it coming, and I don't like it.
That'd be a little rough on you. I mean, you never know what you're going to draw. You're going to draw a card. You never know.
Here we go. Oh, it is a good card.
Oh, is that right?
But it's not going to help.
It's okay. It's good.
Well,
not great.
I couldn't slow down Pongo. I think that was my undoing.
The Pongos were really rough on you. Yeah, the Pongos are really rough. And it's, one of the things when you're building your deck is thinking about what to do with evasive, like, steel cards. The steel part of their kind of ability group is direct damage to characters. And so you do have, we saw some of that in this game.
Yeah.
And that's as close as you got. But yeah, that was a tough one. The evasive characters are pretty powerful, especially when they have 2 of them. Right. I got 2 of them out. Yeah, right. That was rough.
Well,
you can blame Pongo. If you don't want to blame your own lack of skill, then that's fine.
It's Pongo's fault, and I'll never forgive him.
That old rascal.
I will play it out. I'll take my 2.
Okay.
To get me to 13, and I must show you what I've drawn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm going to see this good card. What'd you get?
A big bad Maui.
Oh, nice. You're a bit far away from playing it.
I didn't plan for Maui.
Oh, man. Yeah. What else did you have? What's your other card? And okay, Mickey Mouse. So that wouldn't have been bad because if you played him, you get an extra. So when he comes in, when you play him, you get to take the top card of your deck and put it face down and exert it, which puts you 1 ahead next time, right? Next turn. So he's not too bad either.
That's a good ramp card for
cost. Yeah. That, like I said, that deck is about like playing more resources than you should have, and then trying to get cards like Maui or to a lesser extent some of the like beasts and stuff like that out. But as you have predicted, I will ready, set, draw, but I don't need to do anything else because I could just do that, and now I get 5, 6 more points. GG, my friend. GG.
Very sporting. Wow, that was so much fun. Thank you so much.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it.
So glad you enjoyed it.
I do have one other rule that we didn't get to.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mind just running by it. We've got an ability called Shift. And let me pull one out here. Shift is an ability that certain characters have. And here we go. So this is what we call a Floodborn character. And Floodborn have this ability called Shift. Shift is a different way to play the card. Kind of like songs. You get to choose how you want to play it. You can play it normally. In this case, paying 7 ink to put Aladdin, Heroic Outlaw, out. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you gain 2 lore, and each opponent loses 2 lore. So it's like it's a pretty powerful one. But that's why he costs 7 ink. Or you can pay less ink. In this case, 5. It says Shift 5. You can pay 5 ink. If you do that, you need to put him on top of an Aladdin that you already had out there.
Right.
So you pay less ink. You effectively lose that character, though, right? But the advantage is this. If this card's ink was dry, then so is this card's. So you get to act with it right away. Now, there's other baggage there, or like if this card had damage on it, the new card does too, that sort of thing. But the real advantage is you pay less ink, and if the ink's dry here, you get to do something right away and do some kind of surprise swing. If you've got a 5 strength, 5 willpower character, all of a sudden from that, it's quite a change, right? It can be a nice strategic shift in the gameplay. But that was the only rule that we didn't quite touch on during that game there.
Well, you didn't even need it.
Didn't need it? No, I don't need it. I'm fine.
Ryan, when can players get their hands on these starter decks?
Well, the very first time is going to be at Gen Con.
Right, which is next week.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's coming up. I've been waiting. You know when you buy someone a gift and you can't wait for them to open it? Yeah. That's been me for 3+ years or maybe close to 4. I can't wait for people to get this game out and really start enjoying it. There's nothing quite like that, right? And so we've got some events and we've got some learn to play stuff, but that'll be the first time anyone can actually buy product. And then after that, it's going to go in hobby retail stores on August 18th. And we're giving it to them exclusively for 2 weeks, so it won't show up in any of the larger, accounts until September 1st, because we want people coming to those stores, because that's where the community is born. That's where it grows, and so we want to, and we also want to let those stores know that we value them and we want them to be a part of the organized play plan that we have for them, right? So I'm very excited, and I started in retail, so it's kind of near and dear to my heart, right? So I'm glad we could do that.
Cool. That's it for this game of Disney Lorcana. Visit us at The Gamer for much more.